You may be looking at this picture and asking yourself, why is there a picture of a window of an art gallery? But if you look closely, you will see silver tape running up and down the window. That tape was from about 40 years ago, maybe a little longer, and it's window foil. That was an art that was used back in the 70s and 80s as a glass break sensor as we would know it nowadays. So what that tape does is it creates a continuous loop. And in that continuous loop, if a glass is broken, then it would break the circuit and triggering off the burglar alarm. So the way you install this is you would take a box of staples and then a little marker, and you would mark up from the edge, the left edge, the right edge. The size of that box is normally about 1.5 inches, 2 inches from the sides or bottom or top. And you would make a few marks going to the top. And then at the top, you would do the same, make a line going straight across the width of the staple box and down the other side and at the bottom. Then the fun part comes in with the foiling. You would take one side of the tape, you hold it, stretch it, you take it to the corner, you would bend the tape. Now, it's very important that the tape stays attached to the window and is stretched tightly, not too tight. So when you start doing this, you may break the foil a few times, but the most important thing is to make sure that the window is tight. Also, the window has to be clean before you adhere this. So you would make your first line. Just say if we started from the top, you would make your first line, and on this window, say it's about 9 or 10 inches, you would go across. You would make your 90-degree turn going down. And the reason why you made the marks on the window was to keep your line straight. We want it to be aesthetically pleasing. And if the tape is crooked, you want to make sure that you straighten it out. Then you stretch the tape all the way down to the bottom mark. You make your next 90-degree turn, and you'll take that over about 9 inches. And then your marks going vertically again, you will make another 90-degree turn then. None of this should be with broken wire. We want a broken tape. We want to make sure the tape is a continuous loop. And we'll go into if you happen to break the tape by accident or if you need to service it, how you do that. But for the moment, we want to make sure it's a continuous roll of the tape. Then you go back up and you're going to come about 1 inch short of where your other line at the top is going across. Then you're going to make a 90-degree. So that 90-degree from this side and the 90-degree from the top side will then make a continuous loop, and you put a foil block. Then your wire, you just run a regular 16-2, 18-2, or you can use a Cat5 wire nowadays, and runs back to your system. And that will serve as a normally closed contact. Now, when it comes to servicing these, well, before we get to the service part, pardon me, to make sure that condensation doesn't build up, we'll take a liquid, and that liquid will then seal that tape to the window. And you want to put it on neatly, and you go down, all the way down. The whole tape has to be covered all the way down across on both the left side and top side. It's made specifically for foil like this. And once that's done, it will dry in a few minutes. Once that's done, you have a solid closed circuit connection. Now, to make sure that your circuit is fine, on each side of the tape, you could take your meter and put it on ohms. Once you put your meter on ohms, you test it, it should show a short. And then you could put it on the foil block. And once you put it on the foil block, then you can run your wires to it. Always test at every point. Once you have your wires connected to it, at the end of that wire, if You want to check the wires and make sure you still have a closed circuit. So the way this functions is if the window breaks, the tape breaks, and of course, once that happens, you have to redo the tape. That's a service call. You have to come back out and redo the tape, but that opens up the circuit. Now, if there happens to be a little cut in this, there's another way that you can do this. You'll have to take the varnish off of that particular section that you're trying to mend, so you don't have to do the whole tape over again. And then what you would do is you cut little holes or make little holes in there, and then you're going to rub the foil together firmly. And if you can, you put a little dash of uh, pardon me, but this is taking me back a long time. You can solder it. Okay, you make a little solder connection if you can, but if not, what you could do is just roll it real good. If there's any residue in there, you want to clean off the residue so you have metal to metal, the foil to foil, and you want to rub it together. And you want to put little holes on each one of them, so that will make the connection even more secure. And then you could put the varnish back over it after that, and that's a way to service this. But hope this helps. This, if you ever see this still works just fine. It's not used often, but back in the 80s, we used to use this method of protecting windows. Now we have the glass break sensors that work. So hope this helps. Add this to your repertoire. Make yourself a super valuable technician. Take care.